Thank you, Marius. Pleasure to be in my third game camp. Again, amazing community. Javi just touched base on it. But you don't know how lucky you are to be in this place, to share this knowledge with all the people in the region. So we are very jealous outside of this region of the things that you're accomplishing. So let's talk about ASO and how it has evolved along the years. I have many internet businesses, but this is what I do in Kaizen, mainly consulting, but also launching some games and apps as well. And we are going to talk about the main pillars of App Store optimization, so conversion rate optimization, the metadata, the ratings and reviews, the in-app events as well. I won't touch base on the CPPs because maybe it's more UA related than not, and some bonus stuff. So what is ASO? What was ASO and what is ASO nowadays? So ASO before, people were just stuffing keywords in many places and they thought they were genius. They were getting a pretty decent amount of installs, but that's not working anymore. So it has transitioned from trying to exploit loopholes to like actual marketing. So ASO right now is marketing. It involves like many parts. It involves like conversion rate optimization, also CRM, maybe business development as well. So we will touch base on that. But ASO is simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy. So you need to cover some basics. You need to make sure that you have a strategy. It's not just, again, stuffing keywords and just trying to exploit loopholes. So we divide ASO maybe in two pillars. One, it is the conversion, and the other one is the visibility. So in the conversion, we can test many things that you saw, like from the stores. But also we have the CRM part, like what is your rating and things that also affect to conversion. And then in visibility, how easy it is to find your app from either search or being related to other apps in browse traffic. So at the end of the day, you need to think about, and this is, to me, this is what I want you to take away from this talk, is how users discover app and what do you need to do. So people discover because they search for it, people told them about it, or because they browse. And you need to stop thinking about, I push out a game, is how can I make my app or my game more discoverable? So let's start with the biggest part, which is conversion rate optimization. And there are some premises that I like to say. So first thing first is you need to know who you're speaking to. I think the data AI guy, the sensor tower guy, touched base on this. Another thing, unless you're a super, super, super big brand, like nobody cares about your product and nobody knows your app. So you don't need to be thinking, okay, my features of my app are great. Like people are just mercenaries and they will switch or churn from your app or your game to other thing that it is more convenient, has more discounts, they like it better, whatever. And then you need to think about your screenshots as the salesperson on a car dealership. So this is the first thing that everyone sees when you are in a store. This is the first impression that everyone sees. So you need to make sure that the salesperson has a good sales script, like in any sales call. I don't know if there's many salespeople here, but you need to be prepared. You need to know what are the pain points and the things. So, and for all of this, because it's the first part of the funnel, conversion rate optimization, to me, is the cornerstone of marketing, the most important thing. And we see why conversion rate optimization is so key, because at the end of the day, you need to convert better or you achieve better conversion rate, and that means also it is correlated to UA, you get better ROAS, but also you get more installs. And the fact that you get more installs, it means that you get better ranking in the keywords, so you are more discoverable, and then you get also related to other bigger apps and other games in the browse traffic. And that all leads to more installs, so at the end of the day, it's like a circle that is getting pushed, and more installs mean more money. So that's, at the end of the day, what we want, like making more money with our marketing strategy. So for conversion rate optimization, you need to think about this and stop gambling. And I don't know how many of you just test for the sake of testing and not follow like a really systematic process. And I think this is the #1 mistake that people make. So you need to really be scientific, and you need to think about the metrics that you're testing, why are you testing it, and in order to be successful. So the conversion rate optimization process, we divide it in three steps, which is the research, the setup, and the launch. In the research, you need to know, again, who you're speaking to, what are the USPs of your product, what are the pain points, what the competitors do, what the market leader do. And first, you need to know, obviously, your product and your product USPs. But this is one common thing that I see a lot. Like people, they just do, oh, we are a photo editor, we have these features, instead of selling the outcome. So when you sell the outcome is, instead of we are a photo editor and we do this, is, I don't know, be beautiful in 2 steps, or easy way to get your photos more likes. Something which is the outcome of using your app rather than these are my features. So this will change dramatically, not only in ASO, but also in the UA. The way you convey the message from feature-oriented to result-oriented, it'll change dramatically your conversion rates, but also your CTRs in the UA side. Everything will be changed dramatically. And again, like blocking the pain points. And if there's salespeople here, you need to know, or like, what do they fear? Why? Like, what is the thing that stops them from converting? Like, same for a, I don't know, apps flyer sales team. Probably say, okay, what is the pain point of this guy? What it can solve? Like, what might have, I don't know, what are the reasons why they not sign up? And then you try to cover it. So you need to do the same with ASO, like trying to cover all the pain points. And in order for that, you need to know who you're speaking to, and you need to have something like this that I've prepared like a document that at the end of the talk, you have a QR code and then you can get it and you can use it. But you need to know who you're speaking to and have something like this. So this is one of the guys that is using your product. Is Chad, has 30 years, this is the salary, this is the things that he likes, dislikes, and all the things, so you can create your whole strategy based on the user personas that are in your product. And then you can create CPPs based on these users, ads based on these users, campaigns, influencers, everything. It's not just ASO, it's global marketing overall. And while you're searching for competitors in ASO, we need to define 2 competitors, one that are competing for your keyword itself. So if it's a car game, people that are for car game. In this example is a shooting game, so you need to know who are ranking for the shooting game in the first 25, 20 positions. And same for your category. So if it's an action game, who you're fighting against, what kind of icons do they have, what is the color scheme, and everything. Then, these are the main rules for conversion rate optimization. The number 1 is isolate the variables that you test, because if you don't, you're lost, you won't know what moves the needle, and this is the single most important thing. Again, not only for conversion rate optimization, but also for UA. So if you are just testing for the sake of it, then please just isolate one thing at a time, get results, iterate, and I think touch base on this as well. Just be systematic and keep on improving over the improvements, because at the end of the day, 5% will stack up to another 7% to 3%, and at the end of the year or the period, then you will have a lot of gains. The number 2 is always be testing. So this is super important, and I often see companies that they just do a test maybe one day, maybe 1 week, and they don't do it anymore. And I wanted to ask you, how many of you guys have an active conversion rate optimization test? Okay, so it's not one time and then, because there's infinite number of countries that you can localize for, there's an infinite number of things that you can do, and probably you have still like some percentage points that you can grab. And why not doing it? So this is this number 2 most important thing. But the third is just to remind you again to isolate variables in each test for every marketing activity that you carry on. So in order to explain this a little bit further, we will see some examples. This is a Tinder screenshot, and we see this is the first screenshot, and isolate variable testing would be just changing the headline of the screenshot. So instead of see who's out there, swipe right, which I personally don't like, but I think Tinder's team would be smart enough to be testing this, it'd be better to show the outcome. So a test would be find love today, or whatever message that you want to convey to your audience. Another test would be with the same headline, just changing the background. Another test would be, instead of like having this girl, having this other girl. And I think Ang also mentioned it. So you can keep on localizing. Maybe in the Nordic countries, they like this type of girl or this type of guy, and you can keep on localizing like everywhere, not just globally, but also locally. So in order to set up A/B test, it's good to be mindful to have a hypothesis. Again, I see people testing for the sake of testing because they need to test, but they don't know why they are testing and what is the expected outcome. So at the end of the day, what you need to do is identify what are your problems. So if you have a weak part of the funnel, that could be, okay, my conversion rate compared to the peers is worse. Maybe if you're a subscription app, your paywall thing is worse than the other one, or I mean, even if it's good, it doesn't mean that it cannot be improved. So you can do it according to the data that you have, but also most importantly, for what the users say. They can say it in their reviews. They can say it if you do like a survey or NPS or you run anything. So this can be useful as well. And also knowing your numbers, like trying to be specific with your numbers. When you say your conversion rate, try to nail it down on the single deeper level. So conversion rate in this device, in this country, in this source, and this everything. So try to nail it down. And then try every time you launch a test, again, UAA, so whatever, try to say, if we do this, then we expect this because of this other thing. So an example could be, if I change the first screenshot with a headline from the winning message from Facebook ads, we expect an increase in conversion rate by 5% because we achieve a 15% IPM lift from these ads in paid UA. So you can formulate that, and then you can revisit data, see what worked, what didn't, but having like this why you test is better to keep on running the thing. Things to run A/B tests that also people just tend to forget. So you need to know what is the sample size that you need in order to achieve significant, statistical significance, which is the single most important part of this thing. And then the duration of the test, which is correlated obviously to the sample size. Then when you're analyzing the results, then you need to know like what is the conversion rate analysis, like how the new variant did against the other one, but also if you have the possibility to look at the cohort analysis, to look at how these users have behaved deeper in the funnel compared to the other ones. So maybe not with the screenshots, but if you're testing in-product features and you're using Firebase remote config, then probably you can get a deeper vision of this one. And same with the behavioral analysis. So if you are using the tool from the Google Play Store or the App Store, chances are that you don't have it, but if you're using a third-party software, then you can have this information, how many people read the description, what was the scroll depth, and then you can tailor the message or work on these areas if you have this information. Now, if you, in order to calculate the sample size that you need, and again, spoiler alert, I create one stuff for you that I will share in a couple of slides. You need to know how many variants are you testing, what is the traffic split to each variant, if one will receive 33%, 10, whatever it might be, the baseline conversion rate, and the expected uplift that you want. So in order to analyze the results, again, you need to know, okay, I want to be 95% significant, which is what I would recommend at least to achieve, because otherwise you get a lot of false positive or false negatives, which end up being in probably losing money in the long term, because you are not like really statistically significant of what worked and what didn't. So in order for that, you need to know like how many users saw a variant, how many users convert, and then compare it with a Bayesian analysis. So this is the first present for me. I made this calculator for tests in order to calculate the sample size, the duration, and also to get like a Bayesian analysis results for it. It's a GPT, it's online, but if someone wants it, I can share the files via email or something. And now I wanted to see some examples of screenshots so we get more practical. So why these screenshots are good? Because these are benefit driven, because they are telling you, if you use my app, you will experience this. Instead of saying, I'm Hopper, I'm a comparison flight app. So this would be feature-based versus what they are saying, pay less, travel more, which is the outcome of using the app. And probably, and again, I'm not saying this will always beat telling the features, you gotta test it, but in more than 90% of cases, this will win. So also they're saying special offers, like this is unique to us. They are targeting people that they love discounts, or they are targeting the avatar. They are saying lowest prices. So it looks like they know who their audience is. Another good one, Calm, they're doing a lot of social proof, like App of the Year 2017. Hopefully they can have like a more recent one, but still, like it is, okay, if Apple says it's a good app, then it is trust, and therefore it should convert better. But also in the second screenshot, they are conveying the outcome. Sleep more, stress less, live better. So this is so powerful. Instead of saying we are a meditation app, a sleeping helping app, they are saying this is what you will achieve by using our app. Bumble screenshots as well. They are just blocking the pain points of the users. In the dating world, like there's many fake accounts and things, so they say meet real people, find the right matches, and also they say 24 hours to respond. So they are selling like urgency, FOMO, and like immediacy into all of this. So these screenshots are particularly good. And then we will see Fitness Pal. There's some good things and bad things according to what we've seen. One thing that I don't like, and I don't know why, but this is, I don't know, is not a line, and this is just talk of myself. But good things of this, they have some sort of social proof, though it looks fake. And being MyFitnessPal, which is a super big app, makes a lot of money, I would do a little bit different, but then they're showing the outcome of the app in the second screenshot, like scanning this, and then this is the calories that you have. So this is good. And what is bad about this screenshot? They are saying something that nobody cares. I don't care if you're the number one. I don't know who says that. Like, I don't really care. Like, why don't you sell the outcome of the app? I don't know, get thinner, achieve your fitness results, wherever it might be. Like, nobody cares. And this is what I say in the first slides, nobody cares. And take it again, like, if you don't add value, if you don't tell the user what they will win by using your app, chances are that you convert to a lower rate than not. And then localization, I think there are some talks about localization as well. Like, don't be lazy with the localizations. This is a really good example. A dressing game that is localized into India with all the India dressing. So this is a good example of localization. Right now, we hop onto the metadata, and I need to run because I have 12 minutes left, and there are a lot of things to cover. So in the metadata, what I can say is there were some businesses that they were just believing that metadata was everything in ASO. It's not anymore, so don't pay a lot of attention to this part because it's not working that much anymore. Of course, you need to cover the basics and all the things, but it's not that you can get 100,000 installs just because you have the best keywords and maybe long tails and things like that. So just be mindful that these are the steps. Also leverage AI, not only for the initial research, but also for localizing in each and every language. Obviously, breaking it down by the importance of the countries, those that have bigger population and can drive you more installs, or those that the guys show that have a bigger growth rate in terms of IPs. Just try to prioritize them, but don't be lazy and try to leverage the AI to translate or to localize everything in the metadata. Let's keep it, and then there are some search factors that are different from one store to another. So again, this is just info that you can find online. And just the summary, Google Play is smarter than Apple is, and probably you need to think about the natural language API that they have, see how your description is categorized and how Google thinks about your description, trying to do some tweaks and make Google like you better. But at the end of the day, Apple is more hackable than Google is, and they don't pay attention to a lot of things that they do in Google Play. This, you can grab it later in the folder that I prepared for you. So you need to have like a structured metadata, and if you keep on doing updates, then probably one tab per update, so you can have everything there, every localization, everything ordered. If you're not doing it and you're just and doing it in the stores, then just grab this and use it. Now, ratings and reviews, which are more important nowadays. Why they are so important? Because good ratings means that your app is good or theoretically is good, which people say, okay, I trust it, because if there's 200,000 downloads or reviews and a 4.6 rating, then chances are that it is good. And it converts to a higher rate that gets you more installs, and we saw more installs, more money. So that's what we want. And then the visibility. So if you, like the stores would prioritize you or bury your app depending on your rates. So if you are below 4.5 or 4.4, you never know what is the threshold, but you get relegated to a lower tier of visibility with all the shitty apps instead of being related to the good apps. So you want to be in the good side. And then, related to retention, because they make money if users stay longer, so you gotta do that. And then the differences between Google Play and App Store. Google Play index some keywords in the reviews, not the reviews that you reply to, but the reviews that people said. So we can see later a little bit of black hat, but this happened. App Store features some of the reviews that they find most useful, which you never know what is most useful. And then the good part about App Store is that if you do a fuck up previously, then you can correct it because you can reset the ratings, but you cannot do it in Google Play. So how to improve your ratings and review? I think the single most important part is trying to double down on sweet moments. Like whenever people is using the app, they had a sweet moment, they like it, and they're experiencing a good time and seeing the value of the app, then you try to do a prompt, which should be a custom prompt, and then trying to get them to a review funnel. And then it's super important not to interrupt them in a moment that they are experiencing the app, and trying to incentivize them on a subtle way, because again, if you read the last sentences, this is not permitted by Apple or Google if you do it on bulk, but you still can incentivize people like, hey, if you leave us a review and if you like it, and not to everyone. So if you have these CRM tools, you can have these audiences and say, most engaged users, or I don't know, people that played my game 30 times in the last 30 days, then you get to them if you have their email, or you can have an interstitial and say, hey, rate us and we will give you 30 diamonds. So just be mindful because it is not super permitted, so you probably cross the line, but it's good to take in mind. And regarding if going to the native or custom prompt way, obviously there are some pros and cons. Biggest pro from a native platform, from a native prompt, is that their review, in case it's, well, their reviews will go automatically to the store instead of just going through a review funnel that they end up going to the store. So if the review is good, then great, but if it's bad, then you get a bad review. So I would recommend you, if you can, to get a custom prompt, like, did you like our game or did you like our app? If they click on the 5 stars, then they go to the store, but if they click in 1, tell us what can we do better, or contact support, or here's the chat with our customer success team, wherever it might be. So obviously it has good and bad things. Now we switch quickly to the in-app events, so that's something that you can do in the App Store. And you can feature content if you have like a new release, a new live ops thing that you want to showcase. And they are displayed in multiple ways. So they are displayed, could be in, like after a search in your app profile, but also they can be featured with editorial content. So there are some examples on how they are displayed. So this is editorial content that they did for Social Point in Halloween. This is for Calm after a search. You never know, because to be honest, like this is like really hit and miss. There's no science to in-app events. And Apple says that you need to use it for all of this. What I can say is use it whatever you want, because you don't need to even upload any content. So I'm consistently launching in-app events with no content whatsoever, just 2 creatives and metadata, and it works. And you get installs for free, which is good. So you just need to have a link, which it doesn't need to be an MMP link, so you just can append 1 ampersand and say event equals to GameCamp, and it'll pass. Obviously, you get some rejections, but even if you don't have, oh, I don't have a backend, I don't push live ops, or I don't have time to push an update, doesn't matter, just launch always in-app events. And here are some, well, how can you measure? You get impression data, app opens, downloads, per country, per device, and everything, so you can measure a little bit. Then another thing that you will take away, like how can you get track of all that you tested and all the results, so you will take it later, and how to measure in the app overall, that you will take it as well home. And there are some examples here about a game that we did with the core keywords. The event got these 90,000 impressions, 700 downloads in 30 days. The CPI that we were paying in the US was $6, in the rest of the world like $2. So at the end of the day, we save, translated to UA savings, like 2 point something. So it's not that ASO doesn't have any monetary value, so you can, if you're an ASO manager, you can sort of calculate what is the economic impact of your thing. We have others, but we will switch because we have 5 minutes left. And then in the business development side, so I don't know if a company has a BD team. If they don't, then probably ASO can take over. And they can just apply for featuring in the App Store, in the Google Play. You cannot do it manually. So you can feature by going to this web form. And right now, since this new Apple conference, apparently you can do it through your own console, but only people in the US can do it now. But go there and try to feature, if it's a new launch, or maybe it's an idea, or even an in-app event can be asked for a feature. So again, this is not optional, so this is something that you for sure need to do because it's free. It's just a presentation. And the uplift is free installs, but also probably visibility forever, because all the games that have been featured, editorial feature in Google, like editorial choice in Google Play and in the App Store, they get visibility almost forever. So just do it. And then the app vitals, so same as with the reviews, are probably equally as important and happens the same. If you go above a threshold, then your visibility gets buried, and vice versa. Like if your app is good, doesn't have any crashes, there's a good response, and the retention is good at the end of the day, you will get more visibility. So this is just an example. This is from Google Play, like saying like, is high compared to other apps, and they are telling you that they will bury your app. So this is not ASO related because it's tech related, but the ASO team should communicate with the product team in order to fix any kind of mistakes that they might have, any libraries, anything causing these crashes. And then there's a case study that I did recently in February. So the keyword, I cannot tell because there's a super niche app, but the volume was 52 in the tool, which is not like a lot, but it still is a mid-sized keyword with a 50% with a 50 scoring difficulty, and you can see several jumps. So what we did here is combining UA, but not UA in the sense of I want to make money for the UA, is also UA in terms of volume, because what Apple likes is volume, and you need to do that. The cheapest install possible just to boost it a little bit. Also, the app had pre-registration, so if you're launching a new app or a new game, you have up to 6 months to do the pre-registration, I think. So just go ahead and do it, because you can keep on updating the builds in the backend and you will start getting more installs and indexing some keywords. And the day you launch, everything will be at the same time. So especially Apple, the algorithm will push you up and give you more visibility, which at the end of the day, it'll be good for the long term of the game. We did also a little bit of black magic. It's true, and I don't want to be like preaching that you need to use it, but there's people that uses it. In this case, we uses it because it was a small app, not a big project. So probably if you are Walt or you're Netflix, I would not encourage you to use it. But if you have a small game in a small account, then probably you can do a test. So keyword reviews do work, keyword installs do work. Everything works, but you need to be cautious. So starting super slow, mixing up with a lot of traffic, like a lot of install, low volume. So Apple or Google, they don't see it clearly. That is because people, they are just buying, I don't know, 1,000 keyword installs, but on a day or in 7 days when their average was 0. So you need to be just going step by step, little by little, being subtle, and then the results are there. So in this case, we did a little bit, and then the app is now between 5th and 1st position, and we don't do much with it, so we get free traffic. The app is there forever, doesn't do a lot, so if you're thinking, oh, like how much money this can make, not even $1,000 a month, but again, it still is free, simple app, and why not taking it? So here's the resources that you can get with all the spreadsheets, and when you're finished, we can go for the takeaways. Sorry. And now takeaways. So First is to know who your customers are. Again, this is not for ASO, this is for your whole marketing strategy. If you know who you're targeting to, chances are that you don't do good ads, you don't do good screenshots, you don't do good anything. So first is to know who your customers are. Then make sure that you're communicating the outcome, the benefits you're using your app or your game, not just your features, because nobody cares. Always be testing. So if you don't have a test running, it's wrong. There's always things to get better. Again, in UA, in ASO, in everything, always be testing. A small percentage. You don't need to be 50-50 in the main store listing in the US and risk all your money, but you can still be testing with a low volume. So always be testing. Take care of reviews and ratings, engage with all of them, reply to all of them, and be active with that. Try the custom prompts if you have the capability technically. If not, just implement go and implement the tactics of replying to everything. In-app events are not optional, so always on, because again, it's free. With one portrait, one landscape creative, and some metadata, then you can get it. And again, in every country in the world that the app or the game is available, you can get it, and it's free. And apply for featuring, again, not optional, unless you know for a fact that it won't be a good app. But if you have a good game, you'll be surprised that even like some indie games get featured, like Game of the Day in the US. Recently, a friend of mine got one. Game of the Day in the US, in Europe, in many places. So just go and apply for it, because again, it's free and you can get a lot of installs. That was it. Questions?